Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So Gennady Golovkin's brother, Max Golovkin, he came out and he said, I personally consider Canelo to be just an average boxer. He's just some average Mexican boxer that has been promoted to the top. And guys, this is exactly what Canelo Alvarez is. And this is the reason why whenever I hear some Mexicans saying that Canelo Alvarez is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, if you believe that, then that's not saying a whole lot about Mexican boxers. Max Golovkin was spot on when he said that Canelo has been promoted to the top, because old media knew that Canelo Alvarez was an average Mexican boxer. He was just a guy that they wanted to be at the top of the sport, regardless if he deserved to be there or not. You see, they wanted to replace Floyd Mayweather and have a non-black version of Floyd Mayweather. And there's no doubt about it, Canelo Alvarez, he fit the bill. They feel with him being Mexican and having this unique Mexican appearance of being a light-skinned redhead Mexican with the built-in Mexican fan base that are going to love Canelo Alvarez more just because he is light-skinned with red hair. I mean, Canelo Alvarez, he's like the Mexican version of Ice-T or Will Smith. But the difference is when it comes to black people, it doesn't matter if you're dark-skinned or you're high yellow. From Wesley Snipes to Huey Newton, black is black. Just in case you don't know who Huey Newton is, he was the founder of the Black Panthers. So anyway, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, Mexican fans in particular, they look at him as so uncommon, so unique, that they put him on even a higher pedestal than they would usually put the average Mexican fighter that they would look up to, just because of his rare appearance. And this is the exact reason why trainer Robert Garcia would say, why should the Mexicans have to beat up each other? Let them fight against the blacks and the whites. We shouldn't be fighting against each other. But then at the same time, he says Gilberto Ramirez and David Benavidez, they should fight each other, even though David Benavidez is Canelo Alvarez's mandatory. You see, the reason why Robert Garcia would say something like that and completely contradict himself is because he feels that Canelo Alvarez cannot be sacrificed, but other Mexicans can. Robert Garcia is saying we may never see another Mexican that looks like Canelo Alvarez that is on this level. Listen, there's no doubt about it, Canelo Alvarez is a good fighter. He's a Hall of Famer. But realistically, the bar is not set that high to become a Hall of Famer. I mean, remember, Sylvester Stallone is also in the Hall of Fame just for his character as Rocky Balboa. I mean, just think about that for a second. Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone, he's on the same list of boxers that Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, and Roy Jones Jr. are on. So my point is, while Canelo Alvarez is definitely a good fighter, he is definitely an average Mexican boxer. And here's how you know this. Because whenever people that support Canelo Alvarez are talking about him, what do they always say about him? His entire career, since he's reached stardom in the sport, what do they always say about Canelo Alvarez? He can fight whoever he wants. He doesn't have to fight this guy, that guy. He can fight whoever he wants. Translation, he's a limited fighter. He has to be matched carefully. That is exactly what it means. Because by way of contrast, we never hear anyone, especially old media, say some black boxer, he has the right to fight whoever he wants. When Floyd Mayweather was close to 40 years old media was still pushing him to move up to middleweight and fight Gennady Golovkin. But you'll notice, it's not just with Canelo Alvarez, but any fighter that has the complexion for the protection. And when I say the complexion, it doesn't mean just being white. It just basically means not being black. Old media uses the same code words when they're talking about other fighters on the hope list. When Teofimo Lopez, when he beat Vasyl Lomachenko before he lost to Kambosos, Max Kellerman and ESPN, they said the same thing about Teofimo Lopez. You can fight whoever you want. Max Kellerman, he said to Teofimo Lopez, you don't have to fight Gervonta or Devin Haney if you don't want, because if you fight Devin Haney, then they're going to say, oh, well, you still got to fight Gervonta, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're telling this man at age 23 that hasn't really accomplished too much, that he can fight whoever he wants, meaning he could cherry pick for the rest of his career We already see you as a great fighter. When they were saying this to Teofimo Lopez, they said it was because he was undisputed. But check this out though. They also said the same thing to Ryan Garcia, who doesn't even have a belt. Chris Mannix said right after Ryan Garcia beat Luke Campbell, he said, you call the shots. You can fight whoever you want. Translation, whatever you do, stay away from those very talented, dangerous black fighters. Matter of fact, stay away from all of the dangerous fighters so we can continue to promote you to the top. When you truly believe that a fighter is the best, you believe that fighter is the best fighter in the world or one of the best fighters in the world, you do not say he can fight whoever he wants. It's supposed to be the complete contrary. You're supposed to be the main person out there desperately wanting to see the guy who you believe the best go out there and take on all of the biggest challenges. For example, when it comes to Terrence Crawford, you guys always hear me say, I want to see Terrence Crawford fight Errol Spence. Then after the Errol Spence fight, I want to see Terrence Crawford move up to 154 and fight Jermell Charlo. You guys have never heard me say, this fighter or that fighter, he can fight whoever he wants while he's in his prime. While there are tons of names, plenty of challenges he has in his weight class or the weight class above. I'll close out with saying this. Now, while Max Golovkin was spot on when he said this, what he said also proves that Triple G is pretty average himself, because Gennady Golovkin, he struggled against this average Mexican boxer twice. I mean, just think about the fact that Floyd Mayweather was an old man that was way smaller than Canelo Alvarez and completely dominated Canelo Alvarez. Now, when you look at the dichotomy, Gennady Golovkin was actually bigger than Canelo Alvarez when they fought against each other, and he still struggled to dominate Canelo Alvarez the way Floyd Mayweather did. Floyd did not have that much power because he already moved up 5 weight classes. He was a smaller guy. Gennady Golovkin, he had the power, he had the size, and he still struggled against Canelo, regardless if we think he won the fight or not. Can you guys imagine what Floyd Mayweather would have did to Canelo Alvarez if he was Gennady Golovkin's size? You got to remember, when Floyd Mayweather was a lightweight, he was knocking out almost all of his opponents. And this is the reason why I always say, if you're going to compare Canelo Alvarez to someone, you know, like Canelo fans, they love to compare Canelo Alvarez to the black fighter that they hate the most, which is Floyd Mayweather, which makes absolutely no sense for many reasons. For one, because before Floyd Mayweather was 23 years old, he had already beat better competition than Canelo has today in his entire career, and Canelo is 32 now. And when I say he beat better competition, we're talking about with no controversy. When people talk about Canelo Alvarez having this great resume, they're usually including his defeats. They're talking about his fights with Floyd Mayweather, his fights with Golovkin, his fights with Erislandy Lara, or his fight with Erislandy Lara, and now his fight with Bivol. All of Canelo Alvarez's biggest fights, he either lost or the fight ended in controversy, which means many people thought that Canelo Alvarez actually lost some of the fights that shows up on his record as a win. So anyway, getting back to my original point, if you're going to compare Canelo Alvarez to anyone, you should be comparing him to Gennady Golovkin, because there are no two fighters that have more in common than those two fighters. Both of these fighters avoided the most dangerous black fighters like Charlo and Andrade. They were both protected by old media and promoted to the top. The truth is, if Gennady Golovkin had never been protected from Andre Ward, and Canelo Alvarez had never been protected from Andrade and Charlo, or the Charlo brothers, I'm talking about going all the way back 6-7 years ago when Canelo was at 154, and the Charlo brothers and Andrade were the champions calling him out. If Golovkin and Canelo would have took those fights, old media would have never gotten an opportunity to promote these guys to the top, which is why old media did their best to protect these fighters from those guys. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers. And this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.
My name is Chris, and I'm all the way here from Anchorage, Alaska at ScalpCarolinas, and I'm here for my second treatment of SMP. Well, I was sitting at home one day and going over my Facebook page, and they have different, like advertisements popping up, and I saw one for SMP, and I saw some pictures of some guys, before and after, and I was looking at that, and it caught my attention, so I Googled it. SMP, nothing showed up in my area. So, I did a little more research, and all of a sudden, ScalpCarolinas popped up in the web browser. So I started watching his videos and seeing all the reaction from all the other people. We talked on the phone, we made appointments and everything. I sent him pictures, and he looked at them, and I was like, "Can you fix this?" And, he pretty much said, "No problem." My first session, he made me feel extremely comfortable. It was almost like I was talking to family. He started, and during the whole treatment, we talked and, about our families and our life, and, and things that he does and things that I do. And before I know it, the first session was over. When you see someone doing something that they love, as much as I see Enoch Glover love what he does, it shows in his work. I wouldn't point anyone in any other direction but here to North Carolina, ScalpCarolinas, to get this done.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
Hi, you're watching Dontaesboxingnation.